Welcome to the Underground.
Turn me up, bitch!
My Little Underground with Peter A.
But I've been told that like the lighter roasts actually have more caffeine in them. And the darker roasts, while they taste stronger, actually have less caffeine. Like by roasting the bean longer, you like expel some of the caffeine. I don't know if this is true. This is what's been told
I
to me.
didn't mean taste-wise. Taste is fine. I just meant I'm getting a little... I also drank like 3 cups of coffee an hour ago.
That'll do it.
It's probably all of that.
Yeah.
I was just cold and I wanted
good?
something hot.
Level 45 of My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. And we have the sad and fast Brooklyn Punks answering machine, Jack and JD. What's going on?
Hey.
Hey, thanks for having us back.
Yeah, anytime. It's been about a couple of years, but now we're in a new fashion, a new medium, and I love it. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. It's Peter_A. You can follow the show as well at MLU Pod, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you guys have your full-length album coming out soon. No release date yet, which is fine.
Yeah, I think March. Sometime in March. We think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sometime in spring, hopefully.
Yeah, it's all done. It's all recorded. Just
Okay.
waiting to put it out.
I want to talk about Bad Luck. Love the song. I think it's kind of a grower in a way, because the first time I heard it, like I didn't listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I like it. Then I listened to it like maybe 3 or 4 times after. I was hooked.
I'm glad you gave it
Yeah.
more, another shot. Sorry you didn't like it the first time.
No, because I think I was at work and it was just going one ear out the other. I'm like, I don't know if I like it. But
It's
then-
it's our longest song.
yeah.
So it
yeah.
might be, it's hard to focus for that long for us. Our drummer gets real tired after that. We have to play. Sorry, Lewis, if you
How many takes did you go through for that song?
to record it.
Yeah.
We actually recorded the whole album really fast. I think we recorded it and mixed it in like 3 days.
Oh, okay.
That's everything, and then somebody mastered it. But it was not a lot of takes. Every song was pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sad and fast.
Sad
They're all
and fast.
very
There you go.
sad.
The songs aren't as fast anymore, but we record them fast.
And they're still very sad.
I
We're
get it.
very sad people
get it.
still.
They're also not super sad anymore, but we're sad, so it's okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So Bad Luck kind of talks about overcoming something sad and unfortunate, right? Is that true?
Yeah, Sam, the other singer in the band, wrote the lyrics to that one. So, but yeah, that's definitely yeah.
Is she sadder than you guys?
I think probably comes in a rotation, like some it depends.
Oh, I see.
That's true. I'd say Sam is pretty sad
Yeah,
these days.
yeah.
I don't
more
know if
vocally
Sam's
upset.
not sad these days, but she's very stressed.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've noticed that Sam's very. I'm sorry, Sam, if you're listening to this, but she's a teacher.
Yeah,
she's a
that's
teacher
true.
of children, and just
Kindergarten,
I think,
right? That's
I think she's moved up a little. I think it's
second grade.
fourth grade now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fourth grade now.
but she gets
Which
it all
can be more
out in
stressful.
the music. So,
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, yeah.
yeah. So I'm sorry she's not here, and you got stuck with me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
You know.
that's something we'll have to
Yeah,
overcome.
it's
We'll get
okay.
through that.
Jack wrote Color TV, so
That's true.
If you want to ask about that one, he could tell you
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I love that song. It's probably like, if you ask me like, what is the answering machine song?
Yeah.
Color TV is that song.
Really, that's
Yeah.
really awesome and funny to
I
hear.
agree.
That's the last song I ever wrote, and I wrote that song like 7 years ago, and I've like never written another song.
Yeah.
I just did it, and it's over. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you get to play it forever. Until you get sick of it.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys about the rest of the album. I
Yeah.
don't want to dive in too deep because I'm sure there's some things you don't want to reveal yet, which is fine. But the first thing about this, what differs from this album versus the first 2 Answering Machine EPs?
I think it worked out where the first 2 EPs, I guess, is probably the same with a lot of bands, where we were just trying stuff out and seeing how we play together, and there was like a lineup change too after the first EP, and so I think they were kind of like warm ups. So now with the full length, it was the first time we really kind of sound like you were saying with Color TV. That was kind of like this direction, I guess, kind of, and now this album, we wrote it real fast and recorded it really fast, and it was just like, I feel like it's the first time it really sounds like an Answering Machine album, and not like other things.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So when we're talking about, I guess, any other punk bands that you might have heard in the past or that you might have played with recently, how do you think like it stands out amongst the others?
As far
Or at all in general?
Yeah. I think for this album, it was kind of like, we didn't really, it's not very influenced by a lot of punk bands. I think that because like Sam and I love, like, she's a big like Stevie Nicks fan, I'm a big Tom Petty fan. So I think we kind of try to write songs like them, and then it comes out like a punk band because none of us are very good at our instruments. And I mean, we love punk music too, but like, I think that might be what sets it apart a little. Like, it's got a more rock and roll, classic kind of vibe to it. And we love all of us love like the girl groups of the 60s, like the Ronettes and stuff. And so those melodies kind of come through, like Bad Luck, for instance. Like, Sam definitely got a girl group vibe going in that song when she wrote it.
Yeah. A lot of oohs and ahs.
Yeah, a lot of oohs and ahs.
Yeah. So when it comes to, I saw you guys post your year-end Spotify artist streams things. Yeah. So about 38,000 people have streamed your stuff. How much of those do you think are people that are album listeners, if that makes any sense?
I have no idea. Jack, what do you think?
No, I mean, I think that's a good question. And I think like, I was really impressed by like the number of people who had actually listened to us last year. And I think a lot of that comes from support from other artists in the city or from other playlists. Like, you know, we had a couple of our songs like get on larger playlists, and I think that sort of introduced us to a larger audience. So to me, I think so far, you know, kind of playing off of what JD was saying, that the sound so far has been like a little fragmented, maybe like, you know, people are really into this song, like Color TV, and it sounds one way, and we'll listen to it a bunch of times. Or like the first EP was a little bit more on like the punk side. And so I don't know if everyone was just streaming through the EPs. I think maybe people found like a song or two that they really loved and like played the hell out of that. And I think what we're looking forward to with this album is like, it feels like an album. Like it feels like something that you want to listen all the way through to. So I think that's kind of like the direction we're moving in, and hopefully listeners follow, fans follow.
Yeah. Also, I was think too, like on the first two EPs, like a song I write and a song Sam writes would sound very different. And on the album, we got like closer. We like met in the middle, kind of. There's still a difference between like her songs and my songs, but they're more like cohesive, I think. I don't know.
That's sort of what I wanted to say, like as someone who's really not very involved in the writing process, like seeing it from the outside, I think that's like been a huge evolution, is that Sam and JD really sound like they're like a writing team.
Yeah, we wrote a song together for the first time on the album too, where we like, I had some chords and we like wrote the lyrics together. So
I think that's a huge reason why this album feels cohesive. It feels like two people like writing an album together, you know. It's not like a Sam song, it's not a JD song. It's like everything has this sort of particular sound to it that's very unique to both of them writing together. Yeah.
So what do you think that all five of you bring together that you've never had before?
That's a great question, and it's interesting because JD and I have played in bands together since we were like 12 years old.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do the math. It's almost 20 years of playing guitar together.
Yeah, so we've played in like a ton of bands together, you know, and like with a lot of different people, and so each one has been very different, and I think this is certainly the best band I've ever played in, for sure. And I don't know. I think like everyone is really committed to it. Mm-hmm. Like everyone's just really on board for like the vision, and I think also like Sam and JD have really like stepped into the role of like leading the band, and myself, who, you know, I play rhythm guitar, and like Lewis is on drums, and Craig is on bass, and we're kind of like everyone knows their role. Like we're there to kind of like bring the song to life, and so I don't know. It's like, and we just get along, you know.
Yeah, it's just a very positive band to be in. I feel. I mean, every band I've been in has been like a pretty good experience, but this one, it's definitely like, just like we would hang out if we weren't in a band, you know, like we're all just close friends, and so it's just a very open, easy band to be in. You know, I'd bring a song, everybody's down to, you know, just do whatever to make it the best song that it is.
We're also like a little older now, I think.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
another
everyone's just
thing.
Dependable. Like people show up.
And your priorities are
Yeah, we all
you
have
know what
like
you want.
full-time jobs. This is just like purely for like fun and to just like let like, you know, just like have a good time and make something we can be proud of. So there's no crazy expectations of like, there's no anger if something doesn't work out. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's nice.
Yeah.
And as far as the music goes, it's like what Jack was saying role-wise. No one's trying to show off or anything. You know, everybody kind of does what's best for each song, and it works.
So I think that you guys have a very traditional album rollout, if that makes sense. One single and maybe a few singles before the album comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's going to work for you? Or because a lot of like popular artists or some artists in general just throw out an album out of nowhere, it seems, or maybe they put out one single, then they have the album already announced already. What do you think?
I think this time how it's going to work is like we're just going to put maybe like a single out a month. And we just finished making a video for Bad Luck, actually, so that'll come out in a little while. And then around March, I think, is when we're going to put the album out. I don't really know how any of that stuff works. It's just nice to give people some time to kind of enjoy each song and get excited for it to come out and look forward to it.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, we're still trying to grow this thing. You know, like we're not Beyonce. Like we can't just like drop an album and like people are gonna go crazy. Like I think we do have to like be smart about, you know, sowing the interest. Like, oh, like we, you know, Bad Luck is such like a strong song. Like let's put that out and like get a few people through the door and you know, let's put out like another great song and just sort of build the interest until we drop this thing. Like, you know, we're still kind of in that phase.
Also, I think it's like, it's good to always be putting things out.
Yeah.
So, if we're so, you know, I wrote a few new songs, we're going to probably start working on new songs already. So if we put the album out now, it'd be like a long time before we can record everything and mix it and master it and then get it out again. So we don't want to like have a huge lag in between stuff coming out. So it's nice to just be churning it out.
Do you think as a band now, like this is the right time to put out an album? Because you put out EPs first. Why not put out an album first, or just put a bunch of singles out first before an album? You know, which one do you feel like is going to work out better for you in the long run?
I just want to, like, I love albums. Like, I don't, listening to them, that's how I listen to music is, you know, how I would rate music is by the albums. So we never made one before as a band. We never pressed vinyl before as a band. We just want to like hold a 12-inch record that we made. We didn't really think about what was going to like help us be more successful or anything. We're just like Jack was saying, we're like all in our 30s. I just want to have an album I'm proud of that I could hold and put on my record player at home and just listen to it and like it. And that's really all I was thinking about. And the 2 EPs first, it was like, we're just trying to figure out what sounds good and, you know, and money wise too. We didn't have any money to spend on recording a whole album and all that stuff.
I think that that's the real answer is like, it
Money.
would just be, no, yeah, the money.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the real answer is like, we just thought it would be cool. And like, we want this for ourselves and like to challenge ourselves. But, you know, thinking about it a little bit more, you know, I think an album and having like, you know, more than just a handful of songs that you can listen to at once, like it's more conducive to really like understanding the sound of a band. Like, you know, JD and Sam are hitting their stride. Like, I don't think 4 songs is enough to really like get that, you know, but like a full LP, like you can really see sort of a band like come into its own in a way. Like it's a little easier. You can like, I don't know, like get to know us a little bit better, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, and you put more thought into it.
Yeah.
Like the cover, you care more about it. The order of the songs, you care about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of great albums or great artists that put out great albums, at least for me when I'm listening to it, you get to know these people by listening to this. Because, again, like an album is an artist movie, you know? Like you get to know Martin Scorsese from watching Goodfellas. You know what I mean? Like I think albums still matter, even though we live in a playlist single-driven world. How do you think that the rapid changing of music listening habits affect your music or your creative process in any way?
They don't affect mine at all because I don't really keep up. I'm really bad at knowing what's happening in the world of like current music and pop culture and stuff like that. I just know what I like, so I like to listen to an album from start to finish. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
JD is like an old man in a young man's body.
In many ways.
You know, yeah, and I think that that's cool to be, you know, sort of like, you know, who cares what other people are doing? Like, who cares? Like, you know, we're not under any like illusions that this is going to go like number one on the Billboard charts or anything like that, and we're not trying to. It's just like I think, you know, JD and Sam through like the writing of this thing, they just like want to like fulfill a creative itch.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that's really it. It's like, okay, like I want to like, you know, like you made the analogy to a film. Like I just want to like tell this story. I want to make this thing. Like I want to challenge myself to do it. I think that's more where it's coming from, you know, than anything else. And also, I don't know, things come in waves.
That's true.
You know, like the album goes out of style, the album comes back into style, then it's like, you know, Drake is making like playlists instead of albums, or like, you know, mixtapes are the new album. I don't know. It's just like all in waves, and we can remix the way we package it. But at the end of the day, it just needs to be good and cohesive, and I think that's what this is.
Yeah,
you know?
I get stressed out really easily thinking about like those kind of things. Like you were saying before, like trying to be innovative and stuff. Like I can't do that. So like I just got to keep it simple and like try to just write the best song I can. Like, and before we recorded this album, I watched that. The Promise, the Bruce Springsteen documentary about recording Darkness on the Edge of Town. And I don't know, he just put so much thought into making like this perfect album, and like there was 100 songs that he didn't even put on it that were like hit singles for other artists. I don't know, I just think it's cool to like really care about like creating something.
This is like kind of off topic,
yeah.
But just something I've been thinking about a lot, which is like,
what is it?
Like, you know, it's just as important what doesn't go into something.
Yeah.
You know, and like
sure.
if you talk to filmmakers or actors or whatever, like, or writers, like they'll say the same thing. It's just as important, like what you leave out. And I think like that's what's important about this album too. Like we had a lot of other.
You know what's funny? What we left out is a Bruce Springsteen cover.
Yeah, we have a Bruce Springsteen cover.
We have that
we didn't put on.
We'll release that sometime, but it's not going to be on the album.
Yeah, but
it's awesome.
You know, I don't know. I've never thought about this really that hard in the context of our own band. But I think it's true that like, yeah, there were like a lot of songs that we wrote from back in the day that like wouldn't fit on this.
Yeah,
you know,
for
it's
sure.
probably good that it's not on it. You know, and I don't know. Growing up playing in bands, I don't know if I ever recorded like a full length album with a band. You know, we just get to the EP level, you know, and then we'd break up or screw it up in some way.
I did in 8th grade. We made a full length album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like in your basement?
Yeah, in my basement.
Using what? A Tascam? Garage?
I think
band?
it was. No, it was something from Boss. It was like one of those you could bounce down. So you would record 4 tracks and then bounce down to the one. It wasn't a tape though. It was digital.
Oh, okay.
And then I would use Cakewalk on my computer to mix it.
Oh.
And if I think I've threw them all away because no one can hear that. It's very embarrassing.
Oh,
and I think
awesome.
about like passing them out at our middle school. I had like 3 friends and they were the people in my band, and just passing them out to everybody, and they might have those CDs, and that's really a frightening thought for me.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that was a
man.
full album. We did like 12 songs or something.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So with all like the stuff that like you didn't put on this album, do you feel like, okay, this stuff may see the light of day, or maybe we'll put out a B-sides collection, or maybe put it on one of those charity compilations that I see, being floated around?
The only thing we recorded that we didn't put on it was that cover song.
Yeah.
So we'll probably just, I think after a little while after the album's out, maybe make like a fun video for it or something and just release it as a single, as a cover, just for, not press it or anything, just on digitally.
Yeah, and I think, JD and Sam are always writing, you know, and I know like they already have new songs like we're going to be learning. I mean, we haven't even put out this album yet. And I don't know, a lot of it is, for me, the biggest thing is always just like to play them live. Like that's a big part of it, is just to play them live, like see which ones people react to, that sort of thing.
And what we sound best playing. That was like, for this album, it was definitely in my mind, knowing that was what was so helpful, having been a band for like 2 years, writing the songs, like what's going to be really fun to play live and what's going to sound good with this group of people. So that's why I think the songs worked out, because I like knew how everybody's style and
yeah. And like, I don't know, it's hard. It's become hard to just go and like record like one song. It's like easier to like get everyone together and we're gonna like do it all.
If we're in there, and we're pretty fast about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we rehearse a lot before going in, because it's expensive to be in the studio, and this is not like being paid for by some big company.
And you have to pay for your rehearsal space too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we all like I recorded demos of the song, sent them to Lewis, the drummer, and he would practice at home, and then so we were real ready to go by the time we went in. Besides Jack.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, he wasn't ready.
Why wasn't you ready?
I don't,
No, he came over. He was ready. I'm just being.
No, you're not. That's true. I don't know. It's like I only play guitar now, like in the band. Like I only play guitar like when we're like at practice and stuff. Like I think back in the day when JD and I were in bands together, like we'd write a lot of the songs together.
Yeah.
But it's really like, I just know like JD is better at it and he should just do it by himself. So I've kind of like pushed some of the responsibility away, and I, as a result, I'm maybe less prepared sometimes.
Yeah. But I was thinking in the future too, I haven't really brought it up with him yet, is guitar wise to do more stuff together instead of just like I'm gonna do this, you do that.
Nice.
To kind of like build it together. I'm reading like the Keith Richards autobiography right now, and he talks a lot about like all these great pairs of guitarists who like work so well together. And we definitely have done that in our lives.
Love you.
So I'd like to kind of do that a little more instead of me just being like, these are the chords, just play like this.
I like it though.
I know you like that. You would prefer to not have to think about anything, just kind of do whatever I say. But I want to. Our
democracy.
friendship is so powerful. I think if we brought that into the band more.
To me, it's just like, I don't know, like growing up in bands, I always wanted to like really be involved in like the creative process and like, kind of put my stamp on it in some way. And what's really fun about this band is like, I don't do that at all. I'm just like, JD, teach me the songs. And then it's just like pure fun for me. I'm just like, and I'm playing rhythm guitar. So I want to put a plug out there for just less responsibility. Like it's just, I don't know, I just show up and I have a great time. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The album sounds, I promise I played okay on the album.
Yeah. The final takes of all his parts are fantastic.
It just took a little longer.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
When you guys play shows, do you ever ask like people like how they listen to music?
When we play shows?
Mm-hmm. Like when you talk to people.
Like how they consume music, you mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't do that at shows.
Do any market research or focus groups?
I'm a teacher also. I teach, but I teach ninth graders. And I'm always like, how do you find, because they'll be listening to somebody, I'm like, how'd you hear this person? And so I'm always curious. And half the time I don't know. I don't understand what the answer is to the question. It's something I've never heard of, or it's
TikTok?
just like, on like YouTube or something.
We need a TikTok. That's so true.
Like, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. But yes, I don't know, because it's so interesting to talk to like 14-year-olds about music, because it's so different. They all have such different tastes, and like you could just hear so many things. It's overwhelming. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
but like my friends like who I hang out with now, we collect records. So like we're like old people. So, I don't know.
But I do think like it's just like everything. You have to be everywhere now. You know, like that's the thing. Like everyone has their kind of like service of choice, and it's like it behooves you to be on everything. You know, to be on every platform.
Oh, yeah.
To have something physical, to have like a way to download it. Like I don't know. I mean, I feel like especially if you're like a small independent band or artist, like you can't really afford to be like, well, this is the only place where I'm giving you this this music, and you need to, you know, go out of your way to find it. Like,
Yeah.
No, it's like we have to go to them, kind of. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really ask people.
Yeah, me either.
At show, maybe we should. I mean, that's a good. You're giving me a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I ask people how they listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and usually it's some people ask me when I tell them that I do a podcast, they say, "Are you on Spotify?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
You know what I
Spotify
mean?
seems to be the way
Yeah.
most people do it. Well, like some of my students, I'm talking about my kids a lot, like Apple Music and stuff like that. They'll like
Yeah.
or SoundCloud, these things.
Tidal. Got to get Answering Machine on Tidal.
But yeah,
I don't know what that is.
you guys are on Tidal, I think.
Are we really?
think so.
didn't
when
know
you
that.
when you do
Yeah.
when you put stuff on, when you use like these services,
Oh.
it just goes on everything now.
Yeah, that's.
And so yeah,
But it is cool. I don't. You know, who knows if it's the best way to reach people or not? And maybe we should do some market research. But I think it's just cool. It's still cool to have something physical. You know, like so we're planning to put this out as a record, as like
Yeah.
a tangible vinyl record. You
Yeah.
know, which is and the first EP came out on cassette. I just think it's cool. It's like a cool collector's item, even though I don't even have a cassette player, so I've never listened to our own EP
yeah.
in that tangible way. But
Oh,
it's cool.
we had one song on vinyl for that compilation
Yeah.
thing that our friend Mike has like his own little label that he puts stuff out. So we had one song on this like benefit thing. So that was cool to be able to listen to it on vinyl. But everything, yeah, all the decisions are pretty selfish. I think like
yeah, just I want.
I'm
this.
not sure thinking about how we're gonna be more famous or like how more people are gonna listen to us. It's just like what will make me feel good.
That's very important.
Because
Yeah.
like I was saying before, this is not our full-time job. Like this is just for fun. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever, in the back of your minds, think that Answering Machine will be your full-time job one day, or if ever?
I don't think so. I mean, I even like just because bands in our like realm of music, this like genre of music, like I feel like even the very ones we see as very successful all have jobs and stuff too. Like even though they're touring bands, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
And I love my job. You know, it's hard, but I love being a teacher.
Yeah, I love my job too, and I don't know. I think it's like part of the pie for me. Like I don't know. It's just like my job is somewhat creative, and like I have other creative things that I want to do, and this is like the musical outlet for creativity, and it's just like part of, to me now, like building a full life.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know if it's so important to me that it's like, you know, even though that was maybe like my dream as a child, I don't know if like even if
Yeah.
we could do it now, if I'd want to.
I want to push it as far as we can. Like, and some of the stuff we've already gotten to do as like a small band, like play these festivals, it just feels like we shouldn't be allowed. I don't know.
Yeah, like we played like the main stage at Fest as a cover set.
Yeah, we did a replacements cover set. And we got to play like the big outdoor stage.
But
there.
still, it's like this massive stage, and I was like, you know, this wasn't supposed to
Yeah,
happen.
for a band who really doesn't try that hard, we try hard to make the songs good and stuff. But
Please listen to us, please. I swear it's fine.
But it was just like it just feels really cool. And like I saw the Descendants play on that stage and Lifetime, and like just to like stand on it was cool. So we're just very appreciative of everything that we get to do.
My litmus test is always like, would 13-year-old me think that this was cool?
Yeah, would
And, like,
I think I was cool looking
so
at?
far, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool,
It's
yeah.
pretty cool. Like I'm proud of the songs. Like they're good. You know, like we get to play in different states and even like different countries at this point.
Yeah, we played in Canada.
Played in Canada, and like I don't know. Those are things I didn't really think I'd get the chance to do. So it's already exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to dream bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, one step at a time, you know.
Yeah.
You brought up Fest, and I know you played Punk Island before, but
Oh yeah.
Of all the bands that you've seen at these festivals, have you been inspired, or if you learned anything from seeing bands that you played with or shared the stage with at these festivals?
Absolutely. I'm inspired by Fest is like I've been going to that since before we played at it, so it's very inspiring to see all the bands there. It's such a cool festival because it's like the smallest band can play with the biggest punk band playing now together on the same festival, on the same in the same clubs and stuff. Like you could go see Against Me and then go watch a friend's band, and so it's just that festival is very inspiring.
Yeah, and I think playing at these festivals and seeing like a ton of bands like from the whole spectrum, is really cool. And like I guess what I've taken away from it is like how important it is to have like a good live show, to put on like a fun,
for sure,
good live show, because you get to see like a ton of people. And even if I could tell like these songs are really cool or I'm connecting in that way, like it's so important in that context to like put on a great show and like be having fun. And,
if you see like if somebody's having a good time, like it's just that, I don't know, everyone gets more into it. Like our friends who played this past year at Fest, Nervous Dater. Like we're friends with them, and they're just like so fun to watch because they're all just having a good time, and like that's that inspires, and you can see the crowd getting more into it, and like
and those are the bands that stay with you, and so I think like that's something we've gotten a lot better at over the years, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I think like because I don't know, I've always been like pretty nervous. And lately it's just like since I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but like my job is very stressful, and like it's just the time when I could just like have fun. So we'll just like I feel like we play louder now too, and just kind of like let loose more, and just I don't know, it's more of a fun, it's more fun. And then people get more into it, and I don't know, when people take themselves too seriously, it's kind of boring to me.
This is like totally off topic, but kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like, I think when I was younger and I had a lot of expectations of the bands I was in,
like,
I really want this band to like do well, and like I want us to progress. It was not fun. Like, I didn't have fun playing in those bands. Like I put so much pressure on myself, and now that like the goal really is not to, be this massive band, I'm just having like the best time. Like it's just so fun to play live, and there's no expectations, there's no pressure. It's just like, can we make things we're proud of and like have fun with people in the audience, and like that's awesome.
Yeah, so. And that's something I want to, that's like a goal too, to improve on that, because like I'm no good at talking at shows, to like in between songs, and like
you don't need to do that.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Just like stuff to get people more. I want the crowd to have a better time, because like a lot of the time at shows now, it's like a lot of standing and nodding along, and like a little bit of. I want people to dance like it's the the '60s, just having a good time. Like I don't know.
The music's got to reflect that.
Yeah.
That's if your music is blah, the crowd's gonna react the same way. Yeah. I've seen a lot of shows where it's. Whew, man, it was rough. But I've seen also the antithesis. I've seen bands with no stage banter, and the whole crowd is moving. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, so, you gotta like.
Yeah, it showed me like you don't really need to like worry about those little things. As long as the music is fly, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Yeah.
So when you guys listen, you guys are album listeners.
Yeah.
So are you searching and listening to new albums? Are you always putting yourself in front of new music, or you just in your rut? You're listening to your favorite stuff, and that's it.
No, I'm always like looking for new stuff to listen to. A lot of it is not new, like chronologically new. Like I'll find albums from years ago that I just never heard, or I'll get into one thing that'll open up doors to like other bands and stuff, and so that's kind of where I'm at. I have a hard time finding like new music, but other people in our like Craig and Sam and even like Lewis, I feel like, and YouTube are better at having their ear to the ground for like brand new songs and bands and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of new stuff. It's not always like punk.
Yeah,
I listen
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I listen to like a ton of new artists, but something we were talking about recently and that I've been doing a lot is like going back to artists that I love, but there's always like that one album that I wrote off that like I don't like it got bad reviews at the time, or like I'm not gonna like it, or it's a departure from what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I've been going back recently and like falling in love with those records.
Yeah,
like,
stuff that like 14-year-olds really care about, but 30-year-olds are like, why was I so ignorant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what albums from what artists?
Yeah, so like I've been talking about this a lot, but my like the top like 13 played songs on my Spotify of like 2019 were all from the Distillers, Coral Fang.
Yeah.
And like at the time, like I remember like people didn't like that album when it came out. And I just like fell in love with it this past year, and I've just been playing it constantly. And so that's an old band, but it was new for me. I never really like gave it a chance. And,
Sing Death House.
Yeah,
Still amazing.
so that was the one that I always loved. And
Yeah,
like,
we
I
all
was
love
like,
that one.
I was
And,
like, oh, this isn't like Sing Death House. I don't want to listen to it, but it's like, it's so incredible. And so I've just been going back and giving things a chance that I didn't the first time around. And I don't know, but I don't know. I've been listening. I listen to a lot of new stuff, but I don't listen to a lot of necessarily new punk bands that aren't like our friends, you know. And yeah, maybe I should. I don't know.
So, do you guys have anything planned as far as the release of the album? Do you have a big release show planned? Do you have a tour planned or anything like that?
It's not planned out yet. We know we want. We have like some thoughts of who we want to play on it and stuff, but we're still putting all that stuff together.
Yeah, but there will be a release show.
Yeah, we want to have like a fun. We want to make it as fun and like as many friends playing and stuff, and make a big event of it. Because like we were saying, like even though we did it fast, we still put a lot of thought and worked really hard on the album. So we want to celebrate it.
Yeah, definitely.
So when it comes to, you know, kind of being inspired by other bands when you write music, is there ever a point where you feel like you're wearing your influences on your sleeve a little bit when you're writing songs? You ever hear a song that you wrote and you're like, wow, this sounds a lot like X band or Y band?
Yeah, a lot of the times that happens accidentally. There was like a song on the Color TV EP that I had to rewrite the melody to because someone was just like, that is Basket Case by Green Day. And I was like, you're absolutely right. That is Basket. I need to change this around. And then it still kind of sounds like it, but I didn't. But on this one, it went song to song, I think. Like I was really listening to a lot of Tom Petty because I was just listening to like full albums that I loved, and I really wanted to be inspired by that for the album. So it was like a lot of Tom Petty and Bruce Springsteen. So for some of my songs on that album are super Tom Petty influenced, but like I was saying, like when it's channeled through our band, it kind of changes it. So I don't think it's really like a ripoff as much as, I don't know. They're like the most talented musicians. That band was so good, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what sort of saves the album and the rating from, being too close to its influences. Is that like, when I listen to it now, I hear a ton of like Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac and Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty and like all of these artists that like you normally would never think of in the context of like a punk band.
Yeah.
And so by sort of bringing these influences over to a different genre, it's like it has a really cool effect where it's familiar and you can see the through line, but it doesn't feel like we're borrowing too heavily or anything like that. That's my opinion as someone
and
who
as
did not
far
write
as like
songs.
and guitar, I mean as guitar wise, Jack was for all the bands for our lives, he was always the lead guitar player, so it's kind of like new to me to be writing leads and stuff. So I definitely ripped off a lot of people. Like on Color TV, there's like a riff that's just straight out of a Johnny Thunder song, which is straight from a Chuck Berry song. So like, I don't know.
So someone like after a show we played, they came up to one of us and they were like, like I don't usually like punk bands, but like Answering Machine is like the Fleetwood Mac of punk bands, and to me that was like the biggest compliment.
Oh yeah,
because like
that's cool.
I don't know. It's like that. It like the vision sort of like is transferring to the audience in one respect, and then B, it's like people who normally wouldn't be into this music or vice versa like can enjoy it for that reason. So I think it's cool.
Well, yeah, because I think subgenres are punk, not to throw it under the bus, but it can become monotonous after a while. You know,
Yeah.
A lot of bands can just do what they know and kind of repeat a certain style, and it just becomes that pocket. But I feel like, you know, you guys are trying to like walk a line between what you love and what you're trying to create.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just to bring it back to the Distillers one more time.
Oh yeah.
we can talk about
what
that
I love
all day.
fan.
Yeah.
What I love about that album, and like what I think is true, you know, we were talking before. Whoa, my bad, my coat fell. Sorry to everyone listening.
You're good.
You can edit it out. You know, and I was just about to make such a profound point, and that really screwed it up. But and we were talking about like the Foo Fighters before we started rolling. What is great about those bands is that if you like slow those songs down or you take away the distortion, they're just like beautifully written songs.
Yeah.
Like they're just
Yeah.
great, you know, pop songs or like
Rock and roll
folk songs
songs,
or
yeah.
rock and roll songs. And so like the genre matters less. And I think that, you know, again, I didn't write these songs so I can say it, is like I think if you do that to JD and Sam songs, like it passes that test. Like you play them on an acoustic guitar and they're just like
1,000%
songs.
agree. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Because I think that when you listen to, like when people, you know, come to me and talk to me about music, they ask me, "Oh, what's your genre?" I'm like, I
It's
have
hard
none.
to say, yeah.
There's none. Like I like great songs, and great
Yeah.
songs can supersede genre. You know what I mean? Whatever you call yourself, the way you write songs or whatever, however it makes someone feel, that's what is most important. You know what I mean? That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
And it's
Yeah.
like what you were saying with movies too. Like you want to make a movie that you can watch 20 years and it's still good. You don't want to watch a movie and say, "Oh, that was really good for like that year." Or, you know, you want to write a song that you could listen to 20 years from now and it's still a good song. It's
Yeah.
not just like over the top. Like when you go back and the production of that time was like a certain way and you're like, it's unlistenable or something. Like, I don't know. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
For sure.
On the Distillers note, I
Yeah,
think they're
yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
put out a new album, I think.
Really?
I heard
Yeah.
they were, I mean, they toured. I couldn't get a ticket. It sold out too fast.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that. They really like don't get enough respect. I
agree.
They broke up really
Yeah,
fast.
yeah,
I think
but-
that's probably why.
Or they're often like lumped in with those, you know, bands that became really popular really fast in like the early 2000s on like
Yeah.
MTV2.
Yeah.
And I think like because those songs were huge at the time. You know, Sing Sing Death House was like a huge record, but like there's some real artistry underneath.
Jack just loves Coral Fang.
I love Coral Fang so much. I've been obsessed with it.
And then I showed him the band Hole.
Yeah.
Because you know, Brody from the Distillers was very open about loving Courtney Love and Hole
Yeah.
and stuff, and it just blew his mind. He
I
like
love
didn't
Hole.
even know that Hole was a band.
Yeah, I like, you know, like I obviously
Celebrity
like,
Skin is a great song.
it's
That's
so
great. That album is perfect.
yeah,
It's so
it's
good.
incredible. So that's what I've been doing is like going back to these albums or bands like I totally wrote off because I had a lot of
Same.
thoughts about what was cool or what was acceptable for me to listen to as like a teenager, and like it's so good,
Yeah.
you know.
And I don't know, we just keep talking about like genre, but all of my favorite bands just like play whatever. Like each album is different. Like Against Me, like I think as Answering Machine, they're like the one band we all can agree on that we just love them so much. And like every Against Me album is different than the one before it. And like there are ones that just cause uproars and everybody hated, but like I love every one of their albums. And like the same thing that Jack was saying about Coral Fang, like when that album New Wave came out and everybody was so mad that they were on like a major label. Go back to it now. I remember Jack hating it so much in his car.
I still haven't
making
gone
fun
back
of-
to that one, so maybe I should.
Like making fun of it. And then I listened to it, you know, a few years ago and just like, I love it. I love it so much. All of them.
I got to give it a re-listen.
And the Replacements too, we got our name from. Like all their albums are super different. Some of them upset everybody and like, they're just great. I don't know.
But you're all gonna love this album from Answering.
Yeah. This one will upset no one.
It's an unequivocal hit. All the critics agree.
Yep.
Yep. You guys are the most non-snobbish music fans that I probably
good.
talk to. Yeah. You go, like, I think when you get older, that kind of goes away.
It goes away.
It goes
yeah.
away.
I was definitely much more snobbish when I was 14.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wrote off a lot of stuff when I was younger.
yeah. I think now, like, I really like enjoying things that people are surprised that I'm into. You
Yeah.
know, I don't want to just like, oh, you take a look at me and he likes these bands or these movies. Like, I don't know. I think it's way more fun to be like an omnivore and be into everything, you know?
Is that what an omnivore is?
Yeah. That's someone that eats that, or that's
They eat everything.
That's a,
Oh, I'm thinking herbivore.
That's just one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
that's calling me out on the radio.
Answering machine. Thank you guys. Now we gotta wrap it up.
That's all right.
And that note, yeah, thank you guys for coming out and talking punk music and etc. on this cold Saturday morning. On Level 45, My Little Underground, it's Peter A. Follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's Peter_A. And follow the show as well at MLU Pod, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Where can people follow you guys? Floor is yours.
We got Answering Machine Band, I think is what it's called, on Instagram. Just Answering Machine on Facebook, Bandcamp, all that stuff. Yeah. YouTube. We're everywhere.
Bad Love single, it's out now.
Exactly.
Yeah, Bad Luck. The single's out. You can listen to it on Spotify, and
we're omnivores.
You can buy it on Bandcamp. Album's coming out in a couple months. Some more announcements on that front coming soon. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, man. This was fun. All right.